Welcome back to Business M. This is Metropole Television. My name is Simbalaja Charles Kiage. Guess what? The conversation continues online. Hashtag Business M at Metropole TVKE. I am Charles _ Kiage. We are live on Facebook. Let's talk business matters this morning. It's therefore interesting that every time we talk about business, you never think that in the house or in any point on Business M, we will get political minds to come into the studio. You would think that we talk to CEOs, you think that we talk to business persons and economy proprietors. No, because we're looking at legislation as well, and therefore you think that any environment that supports business growth and in any economy, therefore the political side has to be good, isn't it? So that it supports exactly what's happening in the other sectors as well. This morning, you won't believe it, we have Honorable Martin OGINGA. He is the party leader, Green Congress Kenya. And you, the trees, talk about green. Turns out it's not. Therefore, let's talk about what it means to be green when it comes to the Green Association of Kenya, and actually talk about whether we need a new ideology when it comes to promoting or pushing our economy to different levels in the country. Honorable Martin OGINGA.
How are you?
Thank you very much, sir.
Good to see you.
It's a pleasure to have you around here on Business M.
Pleasure is mine.
Everybody hears green and they will think about trees and a proper environment. What is this ideology behind this Green Association?
Thank you very much. The green ideology,
yes,
basically, I want to put it in the simplest way possible, is an ideology that has come out of political democratic evolution. The way we govern ourselves has continuously changed.
Yes.
We used to have kingdoms, we used to have empires, but today we are living in a democratic state. We want to take that a notch higher and adopt our politics to be able to deal with the challenges facing humanity today.
Yes, yes.
The greatest challenge facing humanity today is climate change. The threat of climate change is that the world is becoming an unsustainable place to live in. And consequently, there is an urgent need to adapt our politics to respond to the challenge facing humanity today.
Yes.
And that is why we come up with this new political ideology called the green politics,
yes,
whose foundation is sustainability.
Yes.
Can we use our planet in a sustainable manner, bearing in mind that we inherited our planet from our forefathers, and bearing in mind that we are under duty to bequeath the same to our grandchildren,
yes,
and great-grandchildren.
Yes.
So, the theme of green politics is sustainability.
Yes.
We've seen what the current ideology of capitalism is doing. The driver here is profit, 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 until there is nothing to profit from. And that is why a new thinking is coming. Can we have profit, but also can we have a life to live? Because preserving human race is very, very important.
Yes.
And to preserve human race, you need a sustainable environment.
Yes.
The only life-supporting place that we know is planet Earth. And science tells us it is under threat.
Yes.
So we want to bring in new politics that will probably address this challenge.
Mm-hmm. And so anybody listening to you right now will say, I'm actually looking at the former member of parliament at Rangwe. And then they will look back at your constitution and say, where did this start from? Did it actually start from this position?
Well, I grew up, and when I grew up, I was inspired by Wangari Maathai. We used to grow trees at home.
Yes.
And then fast forward, I was elected to parliament in 2000 and 2007, but I
Yes.
was sworn in 2008. After that, I became chairman of budget, but I was also a member of the Environment, Natural Resources Committee. That gave me an opportunity to attend one of the COPs, Conference of Parties,
Yes.
the 16th COP that was held in Mexico, Cancun. That was in 2010. And while I was attending that conference, on the side meetings, I got a challenge from a panelist
Yes.
who told me that, who told the meeting that everybody in this room is responsible for environmental degradation. The big challenge that we have today, the big question we have today is, what are you doing as an individual?
Yes.
What are you doing as a family? What are you doing as a community? What are you doing as a nation? What are you doing as a corporation? What are we doing as humanity to address the challenge of climate change and
Yes.
environmental degradation?
Yes.
That was my carry back home. So when I came back home, I had issues with my politics, and this rang a bell, and I said, what am I doing? As for me and my politics, I will create a forum to articulate issues of climate change
Yes.
and probably use it to sensitize my community
Yes.
and my country.
Yes.
And that is how we founded the Green Congress of Kenya as a political party, to be a forum of addressing climate change, and probably to be able to have people who are elected on the party ticket who can go into county assemblies and national assembly to ensure that there is right legislation to ensure sustainability of our country
Yes.
and the entire planet.
Yes. You come up from a very good background. You've been actually the chairman of the budgetary committee.
Correct.
And that's a very huge position, because any money bill that comes to you has to go through to you, and there's a lot of lobbying that actually occurs around you. So when you look at the 2019-2020 budget, sir, from where you sit, do you think that Kenya is so much lagging behind when it comes to being climate sensitive? And how much of our economy is pegged in proper climate?
Thank you very much. I think that is why it is always important
Yes.
to keep on reviewing our political ideologies.
Yes.
The reason why we have political parties is so that they can form government and implement their programs.
Yes.
It is imperative that every political party vying for position of running a government has clear programs. And it is unfortunate that our electoral system does not interrogate the political programs on which political parties are running on.
Yes.
And that is where we lose it. It is the agenda of the green political parties
Yes.
to run a program that ensures that the country is operating sustainably in all fronts.
Yes.
Are we using our resources sustainably? Are we securing social justice to
Yes.
the citizens? Because the overall goal is the well-being of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
Now, the well-being of the Kenyan people is secured by way of taxing the Kenyan people to render the services that will secure their well-being. And when you do that, you must be having programs to implement.
Yes.
And Kenya traditionally is an agricultural state. I mean, from the 60s, 70s through to 80s.
Yes.
Our greatest foreign exchange earner has been agriculture,
Yes.
probably with tourism.
Yes.
And this has since changed. Until today, the biggest challenge we are facing is unemployment. The question is, what are we doing with our budget to address unemployment?
Yes.
And when I look at the budget, I see that a lot of our budget today goes into debt service. When I was budget committee chair in 2008,
Yes.
2009, I think we had it very sustainably because we were spending about 10 to 15% on debt service. Today we spend about 28% on debt service. And that really takes away a lot of public funds that is meant for service delivery into debt service. And that's a big challenge. So as far as our budget is concerned today, the biggest challenge I see in it is the debt portfolio. But another thing that I think needs attention is how much of our budget is going to agriculture sector, which is the backbone of our economy as it is today.
So I think it actually therefore concerns you that if you have all these budgets that are going to agriculture and then you have these funds lost, then from when you see it, you feel a pinch, isn't it? Yes. And so the next question that I really want to ask you this morning, do we need therefore as a country, because this is totally a new ideology, let's grow and do politics around our climate. Do we as a country, as we speak right now, because you know exactly how the country is pegging itself on the Big Four agenda, do we need to turn around and say, well, we've tried it, we've seen exactly the strides we've made, let's therefore go back and come up with a new ideology. Let's do politics under green climate. And how sustainable is it this in the Kenyan economy?
It is not very easy to do that.
Yes.
But it is the right thing to do.
Yes.
As you will appreciate, Kenya today is running on the Big Four agenda.
Yes.
And included in the Big Four agenda is food and nutrition security.
Yes.
And manufacturing and universal health care and so on. But tweaking our politics around climate change is an imperative. We have no choice.
Yes.
And Kenya has done very well. I must thank President Kibaki for the climate action plan. I must, together with the former Prime Minister, I mean, they were jointly confronted the climate change and really mainstreamed it. And today, we have a Secretariat on Climate Change, which is a good thing. Kenya has made necessary legislation, but it is not enough to do the legislation. It is not enough to do the books and the plans. What is important is how do we implement programs geared towards ensuring that we are adaptive to climate change and we are taking mitigative measures.
Yes.
Look at it. The environmental degradation we are facing today as a country. You recently see the exposure on the Nairobi River.
Yes.
You see the way we manage our solid waste. You see the deforestation.
Yes.
And all this put together result into our contribution into climate change.
Yes.
I know we are celebrating our discovery of oil, but please remember, the fossil fuel is the leading contributor to greenhouse gases.
Yes.
And that we are a country which is blessed both with fossil fuel deposits and renewable energy potentials. I think we need to put our money on the sustainable option, which is the renewable.
Which is the renewable potentials, isn't it? Therefore, I just want us to finally, therefore, talk about your party, therefore, and you know 2023 is coming.
Sure.
What plans are you therefore putting in place so that now we start to see the effect and potential of your party in actually moving the agenda and getting the recognition as we fast approach 2022, sir, this morning?
First of all, we have two strategies. One, the ideology is a new ideology which best resonates with the younger generation. I am the only person who is over 35 in the party.
Yes.
The rest are under 35. I'm the custodian of the vision. We are sharing this vision with the younger generation. And we want the younger generation to own the Green Congress Party of Kenya.
Yes.
So that they can run away with it. After all, it is the future of the younger generation that is threatened. And that is why we have Green Congress for the younger generation. The next thing we are doing is we are rolling out our presence across the country to counties. And today we have cells in at least 24 counties.
Yes.
Where we are represented there by very vibrant young men.
Yes.
And because our politics has previously been founded around personalities, our politics has previously been founded around ethnicity and around regions. You find it that when we come up with this new politics of ideology, of the well-being of the Kenyan people, it is a totally new ballgame.
I see.
And we think this one will resonate with the Kenyans, will resonate with the youth, and will help us build a better Kenya.
Honorable Martin Ogindo, thank you very much for joining us here on Business AM. Guess what? We are watching, and you shall come back, and we shall have another conversation on exactly the impact that you're actually pushing for, even before 2022 or even after 2022.
I take this opportunity to invite you to Green Congress Party of Kenya.
Pretty much.
It is the party for the future.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you.
Pleasure is all mine.
All right, we take a short break. Once we come back, we shall be telling you exactly what your president was doing in Jamaica, what your president was doing in Barbados, and what it exactly means for you. For those who really don't know, we take a short break. We're coming back next. This is AM.